For those of you that are in here right now, and only thing you had to do was not just turn your camera on, but pay attention, and that's your investment. All right. So let's go through this. And I talked about, and the reason why you're here is really for you to hear about these 7 mistakes. I realize in this space and in this time, many of you are business owners. If you are, go ahead and do me a favor, put in the chat, what type of business owner are you? What type of entrepreneur? What type of business do you have at this current moment as we are talking right now? And if you don't have one, just say not yet. If you don't have one as of right now, just say not yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Okay? Not yet. Going through this process. Okay, I see service. What type of service? What type of business? Are you a coach? Are you a speaker? Are you an author? Are you own home care systems? You own daycare systems? You have a trucking company? You are a cosmetologist? You have a spa? You have a salon? What type of business do you have at this very moment? And again, if you don't have one, just say, I don't have one right now, and it's okay. Right? Somebody said a writing workshop, you have all of those things right now. And so you came here to find out, number one, if you're making one of those mistakes, yes or yes. You came here today to find out how you can really avoid those mistakes. And at the end of this, I'm going to share the top 3, well, the 3 things, I would say the top 3 things you can do today to scale your business to 7 figures and beyond. And I know many of you are in here right now and you're like, okay, Dr. Sonia, I already make millions of dollars. I hear that all the time. But see, the conversation we're going to have today about these mistakes is how for you to do it consistently. Everybody say consistently. Matter of fact, don't spell it all out. Just put a big C in the chat. A big C, consistently. This is not millions of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years. This is not millions of dollars over the next 3 years. I'm talking about consistently every 12 months. You're generating. I saw somebody throw their hand up like, amen, from your mouth to his, well, from your lips to the heavens, right? I heard you all day. And so as you're going through this, take copious notes, pay close attention, and apply everything that I'm going to teach and making sure you avoid these mistakes. Okay, so let's get into this. The 7 critical mistakes that most business owners and entrepreneurs are making that is blocking them from getting to 7 figures, I would say consistently. All right. One of the things that I want to make sure I said here, and I should have asked this question at the beginning, how many of you really want, because sometimes I say this and people are like, well, Dr. Sonia, I don't want to make that level of income. How many of you really want to get to a year, $1 million year? Say me. $1 million year. Just say me in the chat. Okay. I see them. I see them. I see them. I see them. How many of you want to get to a place or a point where you're generating millions of dollars or $1 million every 3 months? Every 3 months, just say me. How many of you want to get to the point or learn how, shall I say, to make millions of dollars every month? Okay, I know. I'm going deep on you on this one. Hey, get closer to the camera on this one. $1 million every month. Just say me. Now, some of you going to pause right there. You know why? Because right now, it may not be something you can see. If you haven't generated, and the truth be told, many of us that are in here right now, those of you who are watching me right now, many of us have generated millions of dollars over our lifetime. Millions of dollars over our lifetime, right? Millions of dollars over our lifetime. But we haven't made it. And if you haven't, you're not thinking about the millions of dollars, especially in your business. Some of us are just wanting to make millions of dollars, just make enough money to pay our bills. That's all we want to do. And I really want to get you into this place in this space of where you're not doing that. You're thinking about the business in itself, not just paying bills, but helping you generate a legacy. Okay. And so I said $1 million a month. How about $1 million a week? Anybody want to wake up one day and look in your bank account at the end of that week and you generated $1 million in your business? Okay. Let me go a little bit deeper. Anybody in here want to have $1 million day? Wait. I'm not done yet. How about $1 million hour? And I'm talking about legal stuff. I'm not talking about the illegal stuff. I'm not talking about that. I have clients right now that are generating 100K months, $100 million years, $1 million in 3 months, $1 million in 7 months. You get to pick and choose how soon and how fast you do this. So as you're taking copious notes, write this down. How fast can I get to my $1 million? How fast can I get to my $1 million? And from how fast, put a year right under that. Under how fast, under the year, you're going to put a month. Under that month, you're going to put a week. Under that week, matter of fact, let me write on the board. I'm over here talking. I need you to be able to see this. How about that? We are talking about how fast. Make sure I don't click on this thing. How fast is it going to be in a month? Excuse me, better yet, I went straight to the month. I'm like, a year take too long, but I'll let some of you go that route. A year, a month, a week. I'll come over here. A day, and last but not least, in an hour. These are the visions that I want you to start thinking about. It is not how many years. You don't see years up here. You see a year. How many years, or how long, or how fast in 1 year? What do I need to do? And before we get into that, because I'm going to share with you the 3 things you can do, I want to get into what are the critical mistakes that most entrepreneurs and business owners are making to block them from these $1 million year, this $1 million year, this $1 million month, this $1 million week, this $1 million day, and this $1 million hour. What's blocking them? Anybody want to know? Anybody want to know what the 7 critical mistakes? And I know somebody's going to ask, well, why should I even listen to you about these 7 critical mistakes? Simply because, not just my journey. Don't listen to me because I've generated $28 million in 3 years from the things that I'm about to show you and avoiding these mistakes. Don't listen to me because I have 21 years active duty military, Army, 3 combat tours, and have had the opportunity to lead people into battle. Don't listen to me because I've trained over 500,000 people to date in this space. Don't listen to me because I be on CNN, NBC, cover of Forbes, not cover, inside. Let me take that back. Because somebody's like, I didn't see you on the cover of Forbes. Okay, that was USA Today. My bad. Okay, USA Today, and I can keep going on and on and on. Don't listen to me because of that. Listen to me because of helping people like a Jane, who was making 6 figures every year to making 6 figures in a month. Listen to me simply because there's a Dr. Tiffany out there in the world that had 100K month, and she's in the space of ministry. Jane is in the space of health and wellness. Because see, some people think, entrepreneurs and business owners think you have to be teaching everybody else about business and money, and that is not necessarily the case. Or the client who never made $1 million in her life, and she said and vowed she would be the second because her sister was the first millionaire. A Stacy, $1 million coaching, a consulting company in a year, starting from scratch. So you have choices today. What choice will you make doing this? Okay, turn it like you're looking at the television too, Sean. Okay, 7 critical mistakes blocking entrepreneurs. You ready for them? Everybody put in the chat, number one. I'm gonna put them up here so you can see them. I'm a little short here, but we're gonna make it work. All right, I'm gonna draw them on the board so you get the opportunity to see them as I write in each one. Okay, let's say these are the blocks. This is a wall that you have to cross in order for you to get to your $1 million company. These are the blocks, the stumbling blocks, the wall, the bridge, whatever you want to call it, in order for you to get to where you want to go in your business. And these are stopping you from your seven-figure business. Number one, you have a very, underpricing and undervaluing. Underpricing and undervaluing what you bring to the table. Now, I see this often. When clients come to me or individuals come to me and say, hey, Dr. Sonia, I want you to help me. Well, I want to build this coaching, or I just want to expand my business. Because one of the things what I'm going to teach you is this is not just about the coaching and speaking industry and all of that. Right now, what I'm sharing with you applies to every person that is in here that has any business or product or a service, whether you're all the way from being a hairstylist over here to having a consulting or coaching business. These are the mistakes that are being made. And my goal for you is to avoid them, overcome them, bypass them, so you can get to, as they say, the bag faster. Or you get to the place where you get to build your dreams much faster and have the lifestyle that you love, right? So it's underpricing and undervaluing your services. How many of you right now that you are undervaluing what you bring to the table? And simply because you think that everybody, that they can learn this somewhere else. They can go Google this. And so I want charge a fee. I want you to look at it like this. How many of you have higher level education? How many of you have ever got a certification? How many of you have ever had to pay a fee to get a certificate of completion or something throughout your life? Even when we graduated high school, parents had to pay for something. Remember that diploma? All these things are happening right now. And this is the number one stumbling block, or the block that is getting you to, preventing you from getting to your $1 million days, your $1 million months, your $1 million years. Okay. Number two, ineffective systems and processes, right? Ineffective systems and processes. What does that mean? You don't have anything that is moving the needle forward. What I see many do is they're using the same old thing that they've seen somebody else do 10 years ago, or what our ancestors did. And that's not what we're doing. That is not what we're going to do with this. You have to start looking at where we are today. What is happening? AI is taking over. Yeah, I got to say it. I don't want to freak anybody out, but it's happening. And if you're not utilizing it right now, you're missing out. Ineffective systems and processes that are not helping your business grow and scale. Number three, it is all about the lack of a clear vision and strategy. Lack of vision and strategy. I get asked all the time, podcasts, speaking opportunities, about how in the world did someone who had a child at 15 years old, raped and left for dead at 17, went on to play college basketball, but had a hard life. And I smile as I say it, got married at a very young age, was married 18 years, went through a horrendous divorce, took 3 years to get through that process, mentally lost it, nervous breakdown, severe depression, medication to function during the day, to go to bed at night, and to wake up in the morning. Suicidal, depressed, and wanted to take my own life. How does somebody come out of that to marrying the man of my dreams 10 years later after that divorce, having beautiful, sorry, it's a distraction. We were like, I thought he was leaving. He heard me, right? Just marrying the man of my dreams to really help me go through this process and let me know that all of that happened to me. Better yet, it happened for me. for me to be able to come and build a business off my life experience and my knowledge. I'm sharing this with you because regardless of what you went through right now, regardless of what business you have, there is an opportunity for you to serve people to the serve the masses to the next level. But there has to be a vision and there has to be a strategy. And I'm going to share with you momentarily of what that strategy was for me. Okay. Number 4 in these 7 critical, 7 critical mistakes. And when I say they're critical, they're not just critical to your business, y'all. They are critical to your life, your lifestyle, and the generations to come. Do you know that? Okay. So next, poor time management. I need to say that one. Poor time management. We all have the same. We all have the same 24 hours a day. Do we not? Anybody got more than 24 hours a day? Anybody got more than 7 days a week? Let me know. Let me know how you did it, because I'm gonna let you come up here and teach this. We're about to be partners. So we can teach this to the world, because I believe people think if they had more time, if we had more time, we'd be able to do more. That is not true. We just have poor time management. If you're in business right now, you have a full-time job. I completely understand, because when I got started, that's how it was, right? But what do you do from 9 to 5 is your job per se. But what happens from 5 to midnight? If you have a family, you're feeding kids, you're taking care of your significant other, your spouse, your family, whatever the case may be. But at some point in there in the evening time, you become an evening time business owner. And you're doing that because you need to be able to maximize the time that you're given. And if you're in business right now and you're not making any time, and this is what I see happen. Let me share with you what I've even heard out of those 500,000 people I've had the opportunity to help them build their businesses. And those the ladies who made a total of $18 million in their companies over the last 3 years. You mean tell you what that one thing is that they say? They say, I go to work, I get off, I'm exhausted, so my business gets the leftovers. Anybody else can relate to that? It gets what's left over. And because it gets what's left over, a majority of the time, you'll find yourself in your laptop laying on the couch or on the bed, tired and sleepy. And so I can do it tomorrow. I'll do it this weekend. Then you find out somebody's got a surprise birthday party and you have to be at the party. Or the church is having something, you have to be at that event. And your business gets what's left over. It's called poor time management. Next, one of the other critical mistakes that are in here, it is inconsistent marketing. Whoa, who almost turned a backflip right here. Inconsistent marketing and branding. That in itself, the marketing piece, we don't see you on social media every blue moon, and then you'll pop up and you'll come to something that I have, like an Events to Millions. And Dr. Sonia said, I need to market more. And you post it and you expect for people to just buy. They haven't seen you. They don't know who you are. What they have seen is someone who is inconsistent about what it is that they want to do. And one day you posted about selling your tea. The other day you posted about that new book you wrote. The next day you're posting about pastor's event that is come on. Yeah, I know, shots fired. I apologize. I should have apologized when I started. Then I'm probably going to offend you. I should have asked for your permission to offend you. But this is what I've seen. And in order for you to really get to those $1 million months, the $1 million day, the $1 million hour, even the $1 million year, there has to be some more consistent marketing and branding. Say the last thing on this before I get to the last two. Some of you are using your business name and your business logo as the brand. And I'm going to recommend, this is just Dr. Sonia's recommendation, you don't have to Take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to say chew the meat and spit out the fat on this one. If you're looking at your branding and your business being the brand, I'm going to highly recommend you become the brand. You become the voice. You become the face. You know, I posted something on social media, y'all. Make sure I'm good on time. I am. I posted something on social media and I said, you are the brand. I said, you know, stop hiding behind your business name and all of that. Some people got mad. They were mad at me about that. I know plenty of faceless businesses and all of that. I said, okay, great. Making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I said, see, you talking about hundreds of thousands. I'm talking about millions of dollars. We are not Pepsi. We're not Coca-Cola. We're not Disney and all that. Right? When you start looking at you and what you bring to the table, many of you are coming because you maybe have seen me. Man, she looks like me. She's a symbol of who I am or who I want to become or whatever you decide. You are the brand. You are the brand. And so if you're putting your business first, that's great. If it's working for you, continue to do it. But you will see a whole another level of growth in your business as an entrepreneur when you become the brand and you understand the flow of that. Next, it is all about avoiding strategic investments. Okay, let's talk about this one. Avoiding means to run from, don't want to do it. Avoiding investments, strategic investments at that. What is a strategic investment? Is you looking at the pros and the cons. The what if it does work versus the what if it doesn't work. If anybody was like me when I first got started, my first investment, you know, I've had other companies by far from real estate to what have you. But when I got into this space, the $1 million year was right there. The $1 million months began to happen. The $1 million weeks, the $1 million day, the $1 million hour, I've hit every single one of them. Because I learned how to invest in myself. Strategic investment. Some of you had the opportunity, you saw the link, or excuse me, you saw the ad about Events to Millions. This is where I spill the beans and pull back the curtain and teach everything that I've done to have $1 million year, $1 million month, $1 million week, $1 million day, and $1 million hour. And some of you just looked at it like, well, no, not right now. I did say up front that I probably was going to offend you, right? This is probably the part where I did. And you just bypassed it. No, not right now. And the investment is less than what you probably pay at a dinner for 2 people. Or that, I gotta go get my nails done. I wish I could only pay what you've been asked to invest for my nails, let alone my hair, every single week. I know you're good like that. You can do your own. I can't. I cannot. That is not my skill. That's not my gift. And really don't want it because I don't have time. Right? And so avoiding strategic investments because you're looking at what I can't afford. How about what you cannot afford? You cannot afford not to do this. You cannot afford to keep continuing through this journey of these 7 critical mistakes that are blocking you from your millions. And this is one of them. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and highlight this one because I see this one all the time. Avoiding the investment. And if you haven't, somewhere around this video, somewhere around here, there's a link. Tap in. You can't afford not to. And last but not least, the fear of scaling and letting go. Oh, this one's so good. The fear of scaling. The fear. I'm going to put the fear because there's so many things in here with fear. Make sure I spell that right. That would work. Fear. The fear. There's some fear around you doing this. And you don't even know what it is. Fear. Hey, like I want to do this, but I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to do it. How am I going to do this? How am I going to walk through this? I'm nervous. I'm scared. Well, you don't have to do it by yourself. That's why I'm here, to really help you go through this process that you've never been through before, per se. And if you have been through it, someone hasn't really held you accountable and holding your hand through this. These are the top 7 that I really want you to look at, like never before, and how you can avoid them as you go through this. Right? Here they are. Now, as I begin to close this out, I want you to look at one last thing. There is something that I learned along the way that I want to share. This is your way up. This is to, and I say millions, maybe it may take you a minute to get there, right? Maybe it'll take just a little while. Denise, can you do me a favor? I'll hold just for a second. Can you call Sean?
Sure.
And let him know, tell the yard people to get out of the door.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. All right. So I learned something along the way on this $1 million journey. And on this $1 million journey, one of the biggest things that I learned was that it's open to everyone. It's open to everyone. There is an opportunity for all of us, all of you that are listening to me right now, to be able to do a thing. And there's 3 things that I learned that I wanted to share. And these are the 3 things you could do today. Everybody put in the chat, 3 things you could do today to begin this journey to your $1 million day, your $1 million year, whatever the case may be. All right. So number 1, it's right here on this line. Right. And it's all about being hyper intentional. Right? Hyper intentional and focused, right? Hyper intentional and focused on what it is that you want. And some people call it obsessed. Being obsessed with something. And I know most people think that's a bad thing, right? How many of you have heard being obsessed with something is a bad thing? You shouldn't be overly eager for something. I have a very dear friend who's also one of my mentors, and he said, you know what I love about you? And I said, what's that? You are hyper intentional about everything that you do. I said, I am. He said, when did you become that person? I said, because there's so many outside distractions that are going to be around us from, please forgive me. I'm about to say something some of you are not going to like. Sometimes your family could be a distraction. Hello, somebody. Right? And so when you're dealing with all of that and the people at work and the negativity around you, oh goodness, social media, if you don't use it properly, social media could be a great thing for a lot of us. That's how I've built my business. When I hear people, I'm fasting social media, you what? You in business? Oh, okay, you playing. You play too much. Like you're not in business. You're getting on social media and get caught up. And I know how easy it is. Get on there and you look up TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you look up 30 minutes later, like, whoa. I only get on there when I need to laugh or just see what's popping in my business, right? And you have to have some level of control. And so being hyper intentional and focus on what it is that you want. Like you can see it. I can see it. Even before it got here, I can see it. Maybe not in the natural, but I saw it in the spiritual. I saw it. Then I started speaking on it. And I started posting stuff around the house. My family thought I was crazy. At the time, it was just me and my youngest son, and my son from college would come home. He's like, what is going on? Why are these stickers all over the house? Your mama got some goals, boy. Like, okay, mom. Now we matter of fact, we just talked about the other week. He said, I remember. My youngest remembers because I would have affirmations on my mirror, and he started I go in this room. You know how you go in there and they clean their room? You see his affirmations on his mirror? Your kids are watching you. So what are you hyper intentional about? For me, it's growth, personal growth and business growth. I was determined to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm want and am determined to be the first billionaire in my family. It is not, I'm not letting all these distractions around me. Oh, there's never been a woman to do this. And, this is a man's world. And because you don't have this, I'm not listening to that stuff, or the naysayers on social media. I'm not listening to them. What I am listening to, this is just for me, is the word of God and what he has said about me. I know what he said about everybody, but I know what he said about me. Therefore, it's on. So number one thing you could do today is being hyper intentional and focus on what it is that you want. Okay. Number two, the second thing, you have to look at this in a way of getting the game plan. What's the game plan? The game plan. And I say the game plan is getting $1 million runway. $1 million. Go ahead and do it this, because I don't want to just put 1 million, because some of you are going to bypass that. $1 million runway. That's what I'm going to be teaching at the Events to Millions. It's giving you the opportunity to see some things in a different light. Those seven critical mistakes that most business owners and entrepreneurs are making in all different industries. And this is not just geared toward coaches and consultants and speakers. This is for all of us that are walking this planet right now and saying we want more. We need to figure out how the rich are getting richer. We need to not be a part of the poverty category. I heard somebody say the best thing that you could give for someone that's in poverty is not to become one of them. What? I said, okay. I went through bankruptcy. I lost everything. But when I started to understand this $1 million runway and what it looked like, there's a million ways to become a millionaire. Can I just give you a few to get your journey started? Is that okay with you? Right? That $1 million runway is receiving the mentorship, or if you want to call it coaching, that's needed. And getting it from someone who's been there, done that, and is willing to teach you the ways of the land. But you have to get in a place where you're coachable. If you know it already, you should be doing a thing. I still feel I'm still learning. And you know what's the best part of it? You want to know what the best part of this is? I feel like I'm just getting started. At 53 years old, I'm just getting started. I told someone the other day, I've been in this game for almost a decade. It doesn't even feel like that at all. I had to go back and look at the first receipt of where I invested in $25,000 coaching program. And you're asked to invest a fraction of that just to learn. I wish they had that back then when I needed to look for this. I wish they had something back then for me at this fraction of a cost. I'd have been taking all of them. But I'm grateful that I went straight to the top. I don't have time to spare. Maybe you do. I don't. And third thing you could do today. Join the extraordinary few. Join the elite is what I'm going to say. Wherever that is. What you can do today, be hyper intentional and focus. Really get a game plan and get the necessary coaching to help you do this. And number 3, join the elite. I call it the extraordinary few. Have you noticed? Check it out. Have you ever noticed that when you get in certain rooms, y'all, I want you to think for a second. Everybody just pause for a second. You've been in some rooms where there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. Anybody ever been in that room? For whatever reason, you're at a networking event, there's a lot of people in that room. And then something happens when they invite those who are willing to invest, that want to go to a higher level. Everybody that was in that big room does not go into that other room, do they? They don't. They don't. Now I'm good. I'm just going to stay out here. I'm going to watch all your free stuff. I'm gonna just go stalk and chicken hawk you on social media and all that content. I have content everywhere. Content on YouTube, content on Instagram, Facebook. I have content everywhere. But if you want to know where the game plan resides, it's inside these rooms. And all I'm saying is get in the room. If you're serious about getting to let's just start at 6-figure years. Consistently, not from a job though. Consistently. Only thing I can say to you is join me at the Events to Millions boot camp, 5-day boot camp, for you to learn how to avoid those 7 critical mistakes and how you can really be on your journey to getting to your $1 million year, your $1 million month, your $1 million week, your $1 million day, and even your $1 million hour. There's some work for us to do. You have choices. You can stay exactly where you are. And you know what? Let me do this disclaimer. I realize some of you are not going to do it. I realize some of you are not going to be millionaires. Either you don't want to, or you're afraid, or you're going to make excuses. You're going to choose something. But if you're going to be serious about being hyper intentional and being focused on what it is that you want, the question is, how close can you get to this? How closer can you get to influence? How much closer can you get to more impact? And how much closer can you get to more income? You have a decision to make. It's about making a commitment, but finally making a decision. And I'll say this, for those of you who do decide to become a part of the extraordinary few and join us for the 5-day boot camp, you get all the details of the dates and all of that. But one of the things I'd like for you to really think about is not just getting in the room. You have an option to go VIP. You have an option to go platinum. Guess what platinum gets? They get a home study course that you get to keep forever. Not only do I train you for 5 days on this, then you got the home study course to go through. You get to make a decision of how high or how far you want to go. Okay? I hope to see many of you in the room here very soon. And I hope to see you in these stages. And just remember this, if you did not come from a wealthy family, ensure a wealthy family comes from you. This is Dr. Sonia, and I'll see you at the very top. Bye.